It is 8 p.m. in London, 3 p.m. in Atlanta. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Thanks so much for joining me today on CNN Newsroom. Let's get you right to our top stories. From tariffs to tech support, Donald Trump held a wide-ranging first official cabinet meeting. The U.S. president is moving forward with his plan for a 25% tariff on all Mexican and Canadian imports. However, Mr. Trump is moving the rollout date to April 2nd. Take a listen to his response when asked about possible retaliation.
We are the pot of gold. We're the one that everybody wants. And they can retaliate, but it cannot be a successful retaliation because we just go cold turkey. We don't buy anymore. And if that happens, we win.
Well, President Trump also said everyone around the cabinet table must follow his orders, no exceptions.
Is it your view of your authority that you have the power to call up any one of or all of the people seated at this table and issue orders that they're bound to follow?
Oh, yeah, they'll follow the orders, yes, they will.
No exceptions?
No exception. Well, let's see, let me think. Oh, yeah. She'll have an exception. Of course, no exceptions. You know that.
Well, he wasn't officially at the table, but tech billionaire and advisor Elon Musk took the spotlight early on. Over the weekend, Musk blasted out an email telling federal employees to explain their work or risk losing their jobs. 1 million federal workers have responded to that email. 1 million haven't. Earlier, President Trump offered more conflicting guidance on whether or not those responses were mandatory.
I'd like to add that those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. You know, I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. You know, they haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. So, yeah, those people are, right now we're trying to find out who those people are that haven't responded.
Well, President Trump also downplayed the controversy around Elon Musk's directives to federal workers and said some of his cabinet members only, quote, disagree a little bit. Well, earlier he made this joke about Mr. Musk's involvement.
Hey, Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy?
Well, that laughter in the room is stark contrast to the reality of the thousands of federal workers having been placed either on administrative leave, laid off, or have been issued immediate termination. Well, today, Elon Musk laid out his objective with the Department of Government Efficiency.
The overall goal here with the DOGE team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain, as a country, $2 trillion deficits.
Well, CNN senior White House reporter Kevin Liptak has been keeping a close eye on that first cabinet meeting of Donald Trump. He joins us now live from Washington, outside the White House. Good to see you, Kevin. So he's unelected but in charge, and Donald Trump certainly made it clear that anyone who disagrees with Elon Musk can be shown the door, right?
Yeah, it was very clear where the center of power is in this administration, and it was not around the table. It was not among the Senate-confirmed members of Trump's cabinet. It was with the man in the corner, the billionaire, Trump's largest campaign donor, Elon Musk. And I think just, the atmospherics and visuals of this meeting told the story. He was not at the table. He was off to the side. He's operating outside of the typical apparatus of the federal government. He's not playing by the same rules, just in his dress alone. All the other male members of Trump's team were in dark suits and ties. He's wearing a long black overcoat and a t-shirt. He's speaking somewhat in half shadow. The lights weren't on him. His team has been operating in a certain amount of secrecy. So, I think it's possible to dwell too much on these atmospherics, but I think they did tell kind of the story here as you heard Musk kind of take control of the first several minutes of the meeting. A lot of these cabinet members had come in today with their own little sets of prepared remarks of what they wanted to talk about in this meeting, but none of them were called on. Musk was the only member of Trump's team that he actually specifically called out and asked to deliver a presentation. It was only 56 minutes into this meeting that he called on his vice president, J.D. Vance, and he only spoke for 36 seconds. So I think it gives you a sense not only of how much power Musk has within this administration, but how much backing from the president that he has been given. You know, there had been a lot of questions in Washington over the last month or so, whether the relationship between Musk and Trump would sour somehow. And I think, you know, to a lot of people, it's proven more durable than many expected. He does have Trump's full backing. And in putting his cabinet members on the spot, I think Trump was really kind of making a power play here, telling them that if they were unhappy with Musk, you know, go ahead and speak up. No one spoke up. They all just sort of laughed nervously, and I think that sort of gives you every indication that you need of where Musk stands in Trump's mind at this moment in time.
Yeah, the optics certainly absolutely fascinating. But Kevin, I want to turn to Ukraine because Donald Trump also spoke about the need to make a deal with Russia and Ukraine to stop killing people. What more can you tell us about the details regarding this minerals deal and Zelensky's upcoming visit to the White House?
Well, at this hour, I think that this is all still up in the air, despite what Trump said in that meeting, saying that Zelensky would come and sign the deal, saying that he would be here on Friday. In the hours before he was speaking, there had been some questions. Zelensky at a press conference sort of characterizing this agreement as incomplete, as a framework agreement, as a next step to something bigger. That is not how the White House necessarily saw it. They thought that this was kind of a done deal for Ukraine to provide the United States significant amounts of its mineral revenues, essentially as back payment for assistance that had been provided to Ukraine over the course of this war. But Trump making clear in there that he does expect this deal to be signed. I think it was notable when he said that as part of all of this, that Russia would also have to make some concessions as part of a peace deal. We had not actually heard him state that until today, until this point. When he was pressed on what exactly those concessions were, I think it was the vice president who said, look, we're not going to negotiate this deal through the media. We're not going to negotiate it in public, which I guess is not an unreasonable position to take if they had not already laid out in specific detail what the concessions that Ukraine will have to make. They won't be able to join NATO. They'll have to make some land concessions. So I do think it was interesting sort of how that played out in these meetings. This will continue to play out over the next 2 days here at the White House. We'll see the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer here tomorrow, talking more about the European security guarantees. You heard Trump in that meeting today say that the United States would not play a significant role in providing those guarantees to Ukraine. And then on Friday, we'll see Zelensky here in Trump's telling. We'll have to see if that actually materializes. But as of now, he's on the books.
Yeah, exactly. You point out, you make a good point there as to whether or not Zelensky is even close to signing this deal, given that he has referred to it as a framework. I want to just ask you about the tariffs. Trump spoke about tariffs for Mexico and Canada, these blanket tariffs that were suspended. Now he's saying that they could be implemented as soon as next month, as April 2nd.
Yeah, which is beyond the 30 days. I'll remind you and the viewers that he initially suspended these tariffs by. He said that they would go into effect earlier this month. He said that he had gotten an agreement from both countries, from Ottawa and Mexico City, about curbing the flow of fentanyl and migrants across the border. And he said that they would be on hold for 30 days. April 2nd is well beyond 30 days. So some of the timing here, I think, is a little loose. We'll have to see exactly what he comes up with. The other, tariff story and issue that is still sort of in the ether is these reciprocal tariffs. Trump asked about that today as well, saying the plan is still to apply these tit-for-tat tariffs on other countries, but again, no specific timing and no specific tariff rate that he could point to specifically today.
All right, Kevin Liptak, outside the White House. Good to have you there for us. Thanks so much.